goal for all music artists is to have their music heard, and this is how their career starts. Only once their name is recognized through the spread of their music is it possible for an artist to expand their career, to offer live tours, to gain sponsorship deals, and have advertising promotion. We have Side Proposition believe that artists will have this exposure through the market, through the free distribution of their music. The implementation of this resolution will allow more people to hear the music of more artists, which is entirely beneficial for the industry as a whole. Now, we of Side Proposition support this resolution. We have three main pillars to back our case today. The first being that it combats corporate greed. The second is that it eliminates the illegal music industry. And the third being artist recognition. Now, as my partner's already explained the first two, I'm going to explain the last one before I point out the obvious flaws in my opponent's case. So their first point was that of personal sovereignty. But they said that artists should have the choice whether or not to distribute their music or not. But artists make their fan base from freely downloaded transcripts. Now, for example, if Gurleen were to have the confidence to put her music on iTunes, who would buy it? Nobody knows who Gurleen is. Nobody knows what her music is like. Nobody knows anything about Gurleen. But if she were, no offense, but if she were to have it open online for free, people would be like, oh, this sounds interesting, this looks cool, let me download it. Not at this time. Let me download it. And let me see what this is. If I don't like it, that's fine. It's free. I don't care. But if I have to pay for something, then I'm going to be more selective about it. And this entirely narrows the industry. This is not something we want for our music industry today.
Sorry.
No, thank you. Now they brought up the example of drugs versus music. If you can let music go free on the internet, why not let drugs go everywhere? But the difference is that drugs kill people and harm people, and I don't see music having the same effect on people. Music is art, ladies and gentlemen. It's not shoplifting if you're sharing art. People want to see the Mona Lisa because it's a famous piece of art. People want to hear music. People want to hear African Americans in Paris because it's a popular song. And because it's the most popular song, it's because it's the most freely downloaded song in America last year. Yes?
So you bring up the point of the Mona Lisa, but don't you still have to pay to go see the Mona Lisa? And if you want to own the Mona Lisa, don't you have to pay $1 million?
Yes, but you can go on Google Images and search up the Mona Lisa, and there you are. You have it. So now for our final pillar, that of artist recognition. And we believe this will enhance the implementation of the resolution. Now, kind of like the example I provided earlier, if we are to have a brand new artist who has just released his first single, nobody will download it and nobody will listen to it because said artist is extremely unknown and has no fan base to start off from. When people pay for what they're consuming, they're more selective about it. We see this through everything. If something's free, you can take it whether or not you like it. If there's books lying on the ground, you might take some, you might never read them, but that's okay because they were free. But if you have to pay for those books, you're like, okay, this one isn't exactly what I want to read, but maybe I'll pick this one because I know it's what I like. I've read it before. Yes?
Sir, you seem to be under the impression that because someone has heard a song and they like it, that suddenly means that they're going to start paying to go to those people's concerts. But we think that there's an inherent difference between paying $1 for a song and paying $150 for a concert ticket.
All right, that's a good point. But what we see is that concerts are only after someone has initially had their own fan base. And you create this fan base through freely distributing your music over the internet. You can't have a concert of 10 people because you only have 10 purchases on iTunes. You can have a concert of thousands because thousands have freely downloaded your song and thousands have listened to your song. And because you like one artist's song, you're going to buy their albums and you are going to see that, well, we can download those freely on the internet as well. So what we see is that the distribution of music on the internet benefits all artists, indie artists, small artists, artists that genres aren't necessarily popular with. Now, if we don't have this, it harms non-mainstream artists because mainstream artists have their hits, have their songs played on the radio all the time, and people can hear these. But for songs that aren't played on the radio, how do you find out whether or not you like those? You have to find them on the internet and you download them. Whether or not you like them, it doesn't matter, which is the point I brought up earlier. Now, artists don't only make their money through the song. 68% of all artist revenue is through non-royalty sources. Now, what this means is that most of their money comes from live concert tours, sponsorship deals, and brand recognition. 68%, ladies and gentlemen. So my opponents are caught up with the idea that, oh, they have the right to earn that much money. They're little 30% of $1. No, thank you. But really, when they make more of their money through the free distribution of their songs on the internet, gain that fan base, and then go out and have tours. An example of this is the Korean pop hit Gangnam Style, which I'm sure many of you have heard. Now, a lot of us watch the YouTube video. No one would have downloaded Psy's song because it's just some random Korean guy that none of us really listen to. But because it was freely distributed on the internet through YouTube, he now has a large enough fan base that he can go around the world and charge $10,000 per stop, per talk show. Not even performing his music, but just to talk to people. He can charge $10,000. And his career is now made because he distributed his music freely online, free of charge. And he created that fan base that he could start from. Protected time. Now, if that's not enough, Rihanna has a net worth of $72 million, in which 74% of it comes from concerts, sponsorships, and advertising. None of it comes from iTunes, ladies and gentlemen, and none of it comes from people buying her albums or buying her singles. It all comes from other sources. So in the end, we see that the artists themselves benefit from freely distributing their music on the internet. And because it benefits the artists, it benefits the industry. And this is why Side Proposition proudly begs to propose today.